Hello, welcome to Lord Havoc's Marvel Champions custom content extravaganza. I need to remember to put the word extravaganza in there, otherwise Design Hacker gets upset with me. I've
Oh
got
man.
another creator spotlight for you today. Very excited about this one. I say that for all of them, but I'm very, very excited about this one. I'm actually a little nervous, which is kind of weird for me. I'm a very self confident person, but I've got an absolute legend of this community
Oh
with me
jeez.
today.
Let's
It's
let's
true.
not talk me up this
No,
much.
it's true. It's true. I've got Unicorn with me. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty solid. Not a whole lot of complaints. I am definitely very stoked for this as well. And please, I'm just a man. I am but a mere mortal on
No, you're
this
not. You're
plane.
you're an immortal unicorn. Your profile picture proves it.
Oh man.
There's a horror movie
Yeah, no, it's
coming out soon about unicorns. Have you seen the trailer for that?
I haven't. How has this eluded me? I need to check this out.
It's like people hunting down unicorns because they know the truth that they're actually like horrible demonic creatures. It's,
Oh
and I'm
no.
like, oh my god, this looks terrible. I love it. I gotta say, I
I
gotta watch
can't
it.
I can't abide it. I can't abide it.
It's an insult to true unicorns everywhere.
Exactly. Majestic creatures.
Could you? I mean, I've talked you up. I apologize if that embarrassed you, but it's true. Yes, I meant every word I said. But can you just do a bit of an intro about yourself for anybody who may not
Sure.
know?
Yeah, so my online handle is Unicorn Snuggler in various spaces. I am a huge Marvel Champions fan. I started playing the game when it first came out, and I basically, as soon as a new pack or expansion releases, I immediately snatch it up. And on top of being a huge fan of Marvel Champions and board gaming in general, I cannot express to you how much of my basement real estate is taken up by bookshelves full of board games. It's outlandish.
Awesome.
Um,
We should swap snaps of our games rooms because mine is a disgrace. It's like it's so full. Like
oh
it's
boy.
yeah. It's possibly leaning towards divorce. Like I need to clean that thing up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how much overlap we've got there.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
yeah, in addition to being a huge board gaming nerd, I'm also a computer programming nerd, and
Awesome.
I took it upon myself way back in the ancient before times to start scanning in high resolution images of Marvel Champions cards because I noticed that there was a significant lack of high quality images of the cards floating around in the ether.
Yeah.
Just about everything that Fantasy Flight games.
That was a
Just about
very
everything
that
Fantasy.
was an interesting slip. We'll get back to that in a sec for why that is on Unicorn's mind. We'll get back to that.
Freudian slip, if you will. But yeah, everything that FFG puts out tends to have watermarks on it, or they purposefully drop the quality down a bit so that they can avoid people abusing the images.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I took it upon myself to make some high resolution scans of the images and to load them all into a database, complete with hand crafted text written data covering each of the cards because I think we're all familiar with Marvel CDB.
Hmm.
It's a little hit or miss as to the extent of its coverage of new content and the quality of the data contained therein. And so I just wanted to make a proper source of truth and threw it all together and then kind of built a Discord bot based around it. And that bot is called Cerebro. And
And it's awesome, and we all use it. Everybody on the server appreciates it. I don't know if
yeah.
everybody knows that you created it, so I'm glad that we could do this shout out because I only just recently learned about that from another creator spotlight. Actually, one of the other creators, I think it was Odysseus.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, mentioned that just exactly what your involvement in the server was because I've never interacted with you before and you never really post anything all that much nowadays.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm pretty quiet on the server
yeah,
for the most part. Just kind of keeping my head down and working on Cerebro and
yeah,
uh, yeah,
which
just
is
doing what I
amazing.
can.
It's an amazing project. But my research for this spotlight, obviously, I'm a professional, so I had to go and do some research, and I was just blown away with just what the contribution that you've made. I mean, Cerebro is just one of them. So I mean, you've been here from the very beginning, right?
Give or take. I can't
Yeah.
remember how old the Marvel Champions custom content server, how old it is, and I don't really know when I hopped into it per se, but um, yeah, I would say that I was floating around in the circles by at the very least the Guardians of the Galaxy wave of
Mm.
content. Um, and yeah, that's kind of when I really discovered the custom content community and decided that I wanted to take a crack at it myself.
And so the scans were used for Cerebro, but it's not just that as well. It's also Hitch's table, right? So all the cards on Hitch's table are your scans.
Yeah. This is a point that I try not to draw too much attention to
Oh,
because this is when we get into the gray area of what FFG may or may not be okay with.
okay.
But
I'll cut that
uh,
bit. It never happened.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Cerebro
it
at the
is.
very least.
I'm definitely like I'm proud to be the source of truth for Hitch's Table, and I don't think it's really a well kept secret. And by all means, you're welcome to keep this in here. It's just
Okay, cool. Thanks.
the parts that I basically so I don't know if you're familiar or how involved you are in the I guess it's technically the unofficial Marvel Champions Discord server, but the main server
The base server.
for the
Yeah,
game at large.
I always knew it existed, but I only just joined it like a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they put on Con of Heroes once a
Yes.
year,
Yeah.
up in Minnesota, and yeah, I've gone to Con of Heroes almost every year. I think I can't remember. This is not relevant context.
Cool.
Some of the folks from FFG showed up to Con of Heroes, and so yeah, I approached Caleb at Con of Heroes and kind of pulled him aside and said, "Hey, just like this is what Cerebro is. This is kind of what I'm doing with the Discord bot. I didn't know how involved he was in the Discord servers at large. Kind of seems like they purposefully kind of hang back a bit so that they can uh, have a plausible deniability. But
Right.
yeah, so I kind of talked to him about it a bit and said, hey, is this okay? Is this something that I need to be worried about getting into legal issues with FFG over? And he basically, in not so many words, kind of said, as long as I'm not freely distributing the card images and letting people do as they see fit with them, then I'm kind of in the clear.
Right.
So the stance has always been to keep them confined to Hitch's Table, and while they are publicly accessible, if you know where and how to look,
Yeah.
I don't make it easy for them to be actively ripped in large quantities. So
Cool.
uh, walking that fine line to stay in that cozy little gray area.
The safe non-litigation area, which is what
Yes,
we all want.
exactly.
We all want that. I appreciate
For
it.
sure.
Well, Cerebro itself is perfectly safe, and speaking from my incredibly non-legal knowledge, but it's brilliant, and we all use it. It's amazing, and you also help with the server itself. Did you help with the reorganization of it?
I wish that I could take more credit for that, but really a lot of that has been on on Karma,
Yeah.
um, and sort of the initiative that they've taken. I really all I've done is pull some people into a position of power where they can make those changes and bring them about. So
Cool.
yeah, I've been relatively hands off for a good while now, while Karma kind of overhauls things and shakes it all up.
Yeah. Kami does an amazing job. Shout out to them. But you are still a celestial, so you are
Yes, correct.
like one of the head honchos, the main mods. Um, on your profile, I just want to bring this up. So we're going back all the way back to when you first did your introduction and you had your 40 slip. So on your username, it says 718 out of 960, 74.8%. Please tell me that's not how much you're enjoying life at the moment. Like, what is the point of that? What is the point of that stat?
So that is my current fixation is Final Fantasy XIV. It's Square Enix's flagship MMO, and I've been really deeply immersing myself into that community as well. To the extent that there may or may not be another Discord bot on the way, who knows?
Awesome.
but yeah, that's the story in Final Fantasy XIV is notoriously very lengthy and incredibly in depth. It's got some magnificent storytelling in it, and there are well over 900 quests in what is referred to as the MSQ, the main story quests. So
Wow.
that is me keeping track of the progress that I've made in the story quests. So folks in the community know roughly where I'm at, so they can avoid spoilering things for me.
How do you find the time? How long is it going to
Well,
How long is it going to take you to get the extra 26%?
I mean, it's been I think I pulled up my playtime the other day in game, and I'm sitting somewhere at the 46-day mark. So
Wow.
that's the sheer number of hours I've dumped into the game, and we've still got roughly 25% more of the story left to go. So
Jeez.
it's gonna be a while, and I'm not upset about it. It's a great game. Everybody should give
Amazing.
it a shot.
And so, you made Cerebro with your computer, sort of computer programming background. Is that what you do for employment? Computer programming,
Yeah. I'm a software development consultant by
software
trade,
development.
and
Okay, cool.
yeah, I like to code dinky little side projects in my spare time, and Cerebro was my first crack at a Discord bot, and it's gone through quite a few iterations at this point. It actually used to be written in a completely different programming language, and I
Oh
have
wow.
since transitioned to something much more within my wheelhouse. And yeah, gradually just adding more functionality on. There's all kinds of tech debt and spaghetti code that I really should get around to cleaning up, and I just haven't.
Oh, I
But
love it. I love throwing in those
if
those developer keywords as well. I love it. Great. I am quite an old person, and so computer programming for me was C++, and that's it. Anything
Hey,
beyond
there you
that,
go.
I don't. I have no idea. Python and whatever it is, the Apple stuff's written in Tiger or whatever. I don't know, and I don't care. It's C++. That was it. That's when development ended, as far as I'm
Hey,
concerned.
you'll be happy to know that C++ is still very much alive and well.
Awesome. That pleases me greatly. So you've got your computer background. You did Cerebro. You did the scan. So I mean, your contribution already. If it just ended there, that would be enough. I mean, my God, we all use Cerebro every day. It's just amazing. So boom,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much for everything you've done up until this point. So let's dive into your custom stuff. Now I have to admit, to my shame, that I
Yep.
know absolutely nothing about the topic that you've chosen to dedicate your customs career to. I suppose, I don't know, not the right word, but anyway. So you're gonna have to educate me. I'm looking forward to you describing your work and explaining to the noob that I am about what exactly are we talking about. So, what got you into MC Customs, and why the obsession with League? Let's do it.
Fair enough. Let's dive on in. So yeah, the Marvel Champions custom content server, um, it appealed to me in a time where we were suffering from a bit of a content drought in the Marvel Champions community.
Cool.
I think FFG, this was kind of amidst the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken, and we had really pushed back a lot of the releases, and we were, I think, several months, if not upwards of a year, without any new releases in the game. And I, like a lot of folks, was thirsty. I was thirsty for content,
Love it.
and so yeah, I tumbled down the custom content rabbit hole, and I started seeing some of the amazing stuff that folks were making. Specifically, and I'm sure this is part of everybody's story when it comes to how they got into it. Design hackers stuff.
Yeah.
There's just a degree of quality there that few other people can match, and yeah, it was just a fascinating discovery for me at a time when I was desperate for more Marvel Champions content. And yeah, so that's kind of initially how I got into it. And the snowball just kind of went from there because I am very much the kind of person who is a jack of all trades, master of none type individual.
Right.
I'm always willing to give my best crack at something. Whether or not it turns out well remains to be seen. But yeah, so once I started playing with other people's custom content, I thought, I feel like I could probably whip up something I could whip up something. Whether
Mm.
it's good, who knows? But I've got ideas,
Right.
and
I love it.
I started kind of piecing them together, and um, yeah, basically the main deciding factor for me when it came to kind of the area I wanted to focus on was sort of twofold. One of that criteria was I didn't want to further saturate an already oversaturated um, IP. So like you've got a lot of DC stuff in the custom content server.
Right.
Lots of folks who want the Marvel Champions format, but they want DC characters instead. And so that was obviously off the table for me. Not to mention the fact that I'm incredibly illiterate when it comes to the DC universe. But
For shame.
I know, Mister doesn't know anything about League of Legends is going to give me shame here.
Oh, what? There's no. I thought we were friends. There was no need for that, but no, that's fair. I deserve it. I deserve it.
Pew pew, shots
I
fired.
know.
Oh man, but yeah, so stuff like that. I wanted to pick an area that wasn't like super niche, still had some accessibility to it, but also hadn't really seen much exposure in the community yet. And
Nice.
uh, I don't mean to be that guy, but I think at the time when I first made my initial League of Legends content, there wasn't really any League of Legends stuff
Right.
at the point. I think I kickstarted a bit of a renaissance in that regard.
Oh, you definitely
But
have. I mean, Just a Tuner's. I think it's Just a Tuner. I'm embarrassed if that's not the right person, but they've released like every single Overwatch character, like just one after the other, boom, boom, boom. Like every Overwatch person is now represented, and now the non Marvel DC stuff. There's a lot more of it coming out. So yeah, you started a trend.
Uh, yeah. So the second sort of criteria that I had was I wanted it to be an IP that I was deeply familiar with and acquainted with.
Gotcha.
And uh, League of Legends is a game I've been playing ever since I was in high school. That game's well over 10 years old at this point. Um, and I am just like so deeply attached to those characters and the lore and the world building of the universe that that game represents.
Wow.
And God, the fucking community for that game sucks major ass. But
I was just about to say, like
I cannot.
you sound like a nice person. How did you survive the community?
I eventually stopped playing the game for quite a while.
Oh,
But yeah, I just found other ways to connect with the game and its lore and its characters. I was really excited when Riot Games, that's the company that produces League of Legends, they uh, started up a kind of subsidiary called Riot Forge, and they were basically making all sorts of little side games that
okay.
were all taking place within the same universe, taking place with the same characters, but expanding on the lore and following a different sort of game format than League of Legends was. I think one of the most notable ones is called the Ruined King.
Right.
It's like a kind of turn-based, almost like a classic JRPG type game.
Cool.
I digress. I'm tumbling down a
No,
rabbit hole here.
that's
The
fine.
the point is,
I love the. Obviously, you love it. Obviously, you love it. So,
yeah,
and it's coming through. So, yeah, go for it. Go, I'm learning stuff. I have no idea what you're talking
uh,
about. So, go for it. You're learning me.
but yeah. So League of Legends, the game itself is a MOBA, multiplayer online battle arena. It's one of those types of games like Dota 2,
Right.
um, where like you've got the three different lanes
The
and you've
lanes.
got all
Yeah.
these different champions in the roster, and each of the champions has a different kit. And they all kind of play out slightly differently. And so you go through the champion select screen where you're choosing who you want to play for the game. And then you're hoping that you pick a good team comp and that all your teammates are working with you and that you're all kind of cooperating and you're trying to get the mission done in the face of adversity.
Mm.
And yeah, at its core, the
Yeah.
game itself is very um, the game itself is not a good representation, I would say, of the characters and the world and the lore that's under the hood. They do cram some stuff in there, and you hear some of it coming through in the voice lines of the characters and what their abilities look like. But boy, they leave a lot of it out. And I've found that a lot of the other games in the franchise, specifically Legends of Runeterra, and also the TV show, obviously, like so many people know about Arcane, even if they've never heard of League of Legends before. Um, and yeah, you get so much more world building and lore in all the other iterations of kind of the League of Legends universe outside of the game itself, I would say.
Right. And
And
how well do they you've done a heap of them, so how well do they translate to the Marvel Champions format?
so that I personally can't attest to. I'm a little biased on that front, I think, but
There's nothing wrong with that.
I, I think the neat thing about Marvel Champions is that it gives you a templatized representation of all of the heroes in the Marvel universe. So
Yeah.
um, they're all very complex characters. They've all got a very unique power set and like a diverse set of abilities, and they all manifest themselves in various ways. Even the same character can be represented differently throughout different comic arcs. It's a wild place, and yet Marvel Champions does a spectacular job of kind of boiling down that complexity into a series of 15 cards that best represent that hero's kit, not to mention the hero card itself and the abilities contained therein. So um, I think that that's one of the main reasons that I wound up choosing League of Legends, because in a lot of ways it's sort of the same kind of thing. Like you've got the character backstories for all of these complex, nuanced, well fleshed out characters, and they all have like neat abilities and tricks that they're capable of doing. And in a lot of ways, the heavy lifting is already done for me, right?
Right.
Because their abilities are represented in the game already, and by default, all the characters have 4 abilities that they use in the game. So it's really easy to kind of just look at those 4 abilities. How do those translate to Marvel Champions mechanics, and go from there.
Awesome.
Um, but yeah, one of the characters specifically we're going to talk about, I really had to kind of stretch the extent of what you can do in a Marvel Champions game with, and
Well,
that'll be a fun one to talk
well
about.
hopefully that's Akalai, because that's the one I just pulled out. No?
Acolyte.
Yeah, Akalai. Akalai? The ninja
Oh,
chick.
Akali.
Akali. See, I have no
The
idea. I'm just
ninja chick.
embarrassed myself. I've actually, while you were talking, I pulled out all of Akali's cards and stuff, and it just looks beautiful. Was it easy to get art? Like you've got so many cool
Oh, so
picks.
that's definitely. I guess there was a secret hidden third criteria that I went with, and it was I, as a person, really struggle with like inconsistency as a concept on the whole.
Right.
And one of the biggest pet peeves that I have with other folks' custom content, one of the main things that will deter me from playing somebody's stuff, unfortunately, it can be incredibly mechanically sound and very well fleshed out from like a rules perspective, but if the art itself is dichotomous or incongruent, it's a huge turnoff for me, and I can't bring myself to enjoy it as much as I might otherwise. And that
Wow.
is incredibly shallow, I know, and I hate that about myself, but that's just who I am. So yes, my secret hidden third criteria when I was choosing what IP to go with is whether or not there was a wealth of congruent art to choose from.
Yeah.
And League of Legends is absolutely flush with it, because between the splash arts for the characters in the game and a lot of really high quality commissioned artwork from the community at large, as well as Legends of Runeterra, which is a literal card game that takes place in the same universe. There's a lot of art to pull from.
Wow. There
Um,
must be. I mean, you've
and
got
so
12 heroes. You've got an entire expansion with scenarios and modulars. They've all got their own unique art, and it just all looks beautiful. Like it's just amazing. It's like it's always specifically designed for the game. That's unbelievable.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the visual direction and the kind of curation of the art that I chose, as well as all the colors and stuff. That's definitely something that I've prided myself on when it comes to the creation of my custom content. I want it to feel as close to an actual Marvel Champions FFG product as possible. And if I do say so myself, I like to think that I've kind of gotten pretty close to that.
You've done well. It's just it's interesting. We'll go back to what you said a second. Is you're obviously not going to be playing any of my heroes because art is the last thing I worry about, and
Oh
some of
no.
my heroes. Actually, one of my heroes didn't get sealed because of that people didn't like the artwork that I chose because the characters like been around since like the 50s, and so I had like art from different periods of time and stuff, which is contrary to what you
Oh,
meant to do, right? You meant to do like as
yeah.
close to the same sort of set as possible and as modern as possible and all that sort of stuff, right? And I was just too stubborn to
Yeah.
do that. I was just like, nah, I'm doing whatever I want, and so and I paid the price. I didn't get sealed, so automatically you're going to be like, oh no, this is no good. But on the flip side of that, you will. I do really appreciate two things. One, I love when the art breaks the border. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so Akali, what's it? How do you pronounce it? Is it Akali? What is it?
It's a
Akali.
collie.
Sorry. So Akali. So it's like the goddess Kali, but with an A in front of it. There you go. That I can do.
Yeah.
Akali. Yeah. So not only does a hero card break the border in such an awesome, awesome way, but you've also even gone to the effort of breaking the border on her HP counter. I love it. Absolutely great.
Oh, yeah.
She's now my
Yeah.
favorite character for sure, just because of that.
Oh, yeah. The one of my I some people gave me shit for it, and some people thought that it was amazing.
It's
But
amazing.
specifically Galio, if you've seen his hero
Yeah.
card,
Right.
it completely breaks the border in such a way that like you almost can't even see the border.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's
Let
absolutely
me grab him out. Let me grab him out. Galio. Here we go.
yeah. It's his hero side. You almost can't even see the title bar outside of his name because his wings are covering up so much of it.
While I was pulling his card out, I just embarrassingly shut Tabletop Simulator down. This has been an absolute disaster. I'm going to edit it so that you, the listener, don't know. But my internet dropped out during our conversation, and so I'm sitting there like, Unicorn, I can't hear you. What's happening? Is your mic died? But no, it was just my internet. So, like an idiot, I now have to go back.
Oh, jeez.
Just embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing.
It happens to the best of us. Technical difficulties are prone to happen.
I'm a professional unicorn. This should not happen to me. And I had it all set out, all beautiful. I'm so upset. Wait, do I have like a save game? Oh, here we go. I'll go to a save game. Look at that.
I'm just
It looks all sexy.
gonna take it as a point of pride that
Yeah.
I've got you all flustered.
Yeah,
it's great. It's good stuff.
I don't know why I'm so nervous. It's bizarre. All right, so I've now got Galileo. Oh, that looks amazing. That looks almost like a full art type thing. That
Yeah,
is
kinda, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, the border breaks, the artwork that I've chosen and kind of the attention to detail when it comes to what is and is not overlaid. It's all very very particular. I try to be very purposeful about all the choices I make.
Do you have any like art background, like sort of like in a design background?
No, actually. In
Wow.
fact, this getting into the Marvel Champions custom content community is kind of my first exposure, really, to dabbling with any sort of Photoshop type stuff. Anyway, so like all the overlays, I know that there are some people who do it a very specific way. I like to do it by hand because I think it comes out a little better. It feels more personal. But yeah, like literally copying an art layer and then overlaying it on top of the text box, and then literally by hand just erasing elements of the art until you're left with just what you want overlaid. Yeah, that was something that I had never really done before, and it was my first exposure when I got into creating custom content. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Actually,
it's just kind of learning.
I couldn't figure it out. I just had someone teach me. Kami actually taught me how to do it because I had no idea
fair
what I was
enough.
doing. Yeah, it was awesome. Well, the other thing that I'll point out that I absolutely love is you're also not a slave to having the headshot be like a full frontal, boring head.
Oh yeah.
Akali's headshot is amazing. I love it, and I do the same sort of thing. I just this obsession with making the headshots look as boring as possible. Some of the official headshots are like, what are going on here?
they're awful. I
Yeah.
don't understand the choices they make with those sometimes. Like it's like the least flattering images they can
It's
pull.
always bad, and I understand where it comes from. The concept comes from back in the day when the comics came out and the box in the top left corner had the headshots in there and stuff, and that was innovative at the time and awesome, and I love it. I mean, I'm old school comics. I've been reading comics all my life and love it. But some of the headshots they've chosen for the game, though, just like, what are you doing? So, I love a headshot.
for sure.
All right, so you've got 12 heroes. You got a bunch of, and you've brought out like an expansion, a campaign expansion. Does it have an actual? It doesn't appear to be a rule book, so does it have like a campaign in it?
No. So the expansion box is actually somewhat unfinished. I did
Okay.
fully intend on creating a full campaign, but life happens. You get
Yeah.
busy, and sort of dropped off for a bit. And I think I only have 3 scenarios, if I'm not
Yeah, there's three
mistaken.
scenarios. Annie, the Dark Child,
Yeah.
who scarily reminds me of the one of the characters from Borderlands, and
Yeah.
Nessus, the creator of the Sands, and Azir, the Emperor of the Sands, which is pretty sweet. I love Egyptian mythology; it's great. Um,
Yeah, so yeah, I definitely had a kind of theme that I was going for. I don't want to bore you too much with the League of Legends lore
no,
behind my
hit
decisions,
me.
but
No, it won't bore me. I love. I mean, obviously, it delves into mythology and stuff, and yeah, no, go for it.
yeah, so Azir and Nasus are both from like kind of the League of Legends universe's equivalent of kind of ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Um, and the idea there was that I wanted to sort of have a whole expansion kind of dedicated to that region. And Annie was kind of my fun little flex, like all the expansions that the Marvel Champions boxes tend to do. They have like 4 very contiguous scenarios, and then one kind of wild card scenario that they play with.
Right.
And yeah, that was kind of the goal that I had in mind, was to have 3 um, sort of scenarios that were all based in the Shurima zone, and then to kind of have Annie be a lead into a possible Noxus box as well.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it's not impossible that I'll return to it. It's one of the things that I found is that scenario packs are so much harder to design than hero packs.
Oh
It's
yeah.
you have a lot more moving parts and elements that you need to keep track of, because with heroes, really the biggest kind of flexible variable that you've got to deal with, right, is the aspect cards and like deck building as a concept. And while yes, there are over 1,000 cards in the aspect card pool at this point, or not in the aspect card pool in the game as a whole, but
Yeah.
I think the aspect card total itself is much closer to somewhere in the 500 to 600 range. But yeah, you've definitely got a significant pool of cards to work with, but uh, the limitation on picking an aspect really narrows down the variables you have to think about when you're designing a hero and trying to keep them relatively balanced, which has always been pretty important to me.
Yeah.
I don't particularly want them to feel underpowered, but I also want to keep them at a power level where it feels like they're kind of on brand with official Marvel Champions heroes.
Yeah.
Um,
We're,
so yeah,
we're,
designing a hero.
were any of them easier than the others because they have sort of like Marvel Champions sort of analogs? There's so you get like they like compatible sort of type heroes. It's like you know, is Timu close enough to Rocket or something like that? Is that you know what I mean?
I would say that um, one of the easiest ones I would say to adapt was probably Lux,
Cool.
because her whole kit is basically just kind of doing the Marvel Champions thing, where you have a mystic character and you're sort of letting them just sort of flex their magic in ways that are very obvious. And Lux's kit, both in the game and in my rendition of her in Marvel Champions, really just kind of drives home that point that she's just like a sorceress who's doing her shtick. And I think that her mechanics are not super complex in the grand scheme of things. Although, as I'm saying that, I think I'm remembering that I put light counters in her shtick, and that definitely adds a layer of complexity. So never mind. But uh, yeah, yeah. One of the things that I don't know, it's both a boon and a bane. Um, is that as I was going through my content, one of the things that I really fixated on was the utilization of all-purpose counters. Um, so a very significant through line for a lot of my heroes is using counters to represent various parts of their kit. Um, I think the very first hero that I ever made was Thresh. Um,
Okay.
and he has definitely undergone a lot of work since then. But the next one after that is Leona, and both of those characters very heavily rely on counters as part of their kit,
Right.
um, because their League of Legends counterparts have it's a concept in video games called a stacking buff. So the idea is that they are collecting stacks of a thing that makes them stronger the more they play the game.
Ah.
And so I wanted to represent that in their Marvel Champions counterparts. And yeah, so I kind of just started leaning into all-purpose counters, and you'll notice that a lot of my characters definitely have erroneous counters where their mechanics probably could have been more simplified, but I wasn't afraid to shy away from, or sorry, I didn't shy away from mechanical complexity. So,
Right. Okay.
uh, yeah, and I think that's I mentioned it being both a boon and a bane. The bane being that it makes it slightly less accessible.
Right.
Especially when we get to talking about Yumi, some of my heroes are just so mechanically nuanced and complex and require a lot of mental bandwidth that it's not very accessible for most folks,
So
unfortunately.
Yumi's the one that you mentioned before. Is this your most complicated one?
By far,
Well, she
yeah.
has her own.
So
She has her own insert.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to talk about that
Yeah,
now,
let's do it.
or if
Yeah,
we.
I want to talk
All
about
right.
your design process. So let's use Yumi. I mean, why the specific mechanic? Why so complicated? Is she even all that complicated? I don't know. Yeah, let's go through that. I'm bringing her up. I'm bringing her out
So
as you do.
so Yumi as a character in League of Legends, kind of, in a lot of ways, broke the game. And I say broke in the sense that the way that she handles and what her kit does was so unique and new, that they had to balance and rebalance that character so many times because it was just the mechanics were so novel. And Yumi is an incredibly fun character to play and just absolutely adorable. Like, there's no denying that a super cute cat riding
I
around on a
know.
floating book is just really cute. Um, and so yeah, I really wanted to represent Yumi in the game because she's one of my favorite characters to play, and I thought that it would be really fun to just break Marvel Champions too. And so,
Right.
yeah, her whole shtick in League of Legends is that she can attach herself to her teammates. And she becomes untargetable, and she's just kind of floating around attached to them. And while she's attached to somebody, she grants them a special buff, which helps them deal more damage. And she can, well, at least at the time that I made Yumi, she's undergone a lot of rework since then. But at the time, she could heal her friends with an ability, uh, eh, and she could give them little movement speed buffs. And one of the main abilities that she had to deal damage was shooting out a little projectile that she could control with her mouse. Yeah, normally most characters require you to use the mouse to move them around, but since she was attached to somebody, they wanted to give the mouse a different purpose, and so they had it attached to a little projectile that you could have it following the mouse cursor around, and it was
Wow.
uh, very analogous to what it's like to be a cat. And in a lot of ways, I think they did a good job of representing a sort of cat-like behavior in their creation of that champion, and it was super cool.
Yeah.
Um,
She
and
is.
so yeah, that was my mentality going into it when I created the Marvel Champions rendition. Is I wanted something that was not only faithful to her in-game look and feel, um, but also that like created a novel Marvel Champions experience as well. And so yeah, if you've never played Yumi before,
I haven't.
her shtick is that she has uh, basically two different hero cards.
Yeah.
Um, one of them is her detached form, and one of them is her attached form.
Right.
And the very first thing that you'll notice if you're looking at her attached form is that she has no stats.
Yeah.
She can't use basic powers at all. But the trade-off for that is that she grants whoever she is attached to bonus stats.
Yeah. Thwart
So
attack defense.
she yeah, so she's acting like a conduit for her companion to get stronger and to have more powerful basic activations. Um, but the trade-off for that is, and this is part of the giant insert that's associated with
Yeah.
this character,
I've got it on screen.
The trade-off for that is that whenever she's attached to somebody, any threat that she would incur instead it's redirected to her companion, whoever
Yeah.
she's attached to.
Right.
So it's a real big double-edged sword. You're granting somebody huge stat buffs and you're making them very strong, but at the same time you're also putting a lot of extra threat on them and pressure that they need to counteract in some way.
Hmm.
Um, and she's got tools in her kit to help mitigate some of that threat, but at the same time, it's a lot. So you need to play this fun balancing game where you're like, how much do I want to do detached versus how much setup can I do to help whoever I'm attaching to? Which is why I think the best aspect that you can play with Yumi is protection, because it's got a lot of baked in abilities to uh, uh, kind of stave off the extra attacks and the extra encounter cards that are being doled out, that sort of thing. Um, so yeah, it's when you explain it like that, it might not sound too complicated, but then you get into these weird little mechanical interactions with the game where it's like, okay, well, if this is targeting this character while they're attached to this other character, what does that mean for them?
Yeah.
If they're attached to a character, are they treated like an equipment or something? Like, and so these were all questions that I had to kind of think about ahead of time and answer in the FAQ and kind of address as I was reworking and editing the hero set. Um, it's just a lot to think about, and it's very mechanically nuanced, and it also really only suits a particular playstyle because the only time that stat buffs benefit you is when you're making basic activations, right?
Yeah.
So if you're playing with a hero who literally never tips themselves on the side to do a basic attack or a basic thwart, you're kind of missing out on pretty much all of the value that Yumi provides there. Whereas on the flip side, if you pair yourself up with somebody like Quicksilver who wants to make numerous basic activations every turn, you get absolutely cracked out of your mind. Uh,
Wow.
and so yeah, it's one of those things where you just have to kind of evaluate the team comp situation and whether or not Yumi's a good fit. And I think that's another big turnoff for a lot of folks is uh, I have gone into my content creation from the perspective of a League of Legends player where team comp is everything. Like,
Right.
not every character is going to work in every situation. Not every character is going to work with every other character. So you have to really be kind of evaluating who's going to pair well in what matchup and why should I
Right.
pick this character and yeah, I've definitely carried that mentality over into the creation of my custom content, and I think that's not a mentality that a lot of folks in this community can relate to because they want to play their favorite hero in all scenarios, regardless of what the matchup looks like. And
Right.
uh, unfortunately, that's not something that I am very compliant with.
Yeah. I gotcha. So I mean, it really embraces the co-op nature of the game, doesn't it? I mean,
Sure,
your
yeah.
teammate is obviously vital and needs to be aware the pros and cons of what Yumi's going to do for them. My question would be that doesn't seem to be covered in the fact. I don't know. I had a quick read of it while you were talking, but um, can Yumi be affected by caught off guard?
No, so Yumi is not actually treated as an equipment or sorry, an upgrade or a support.
Excellent.
She is effectively still an
An
identity that
identity
is
card,
attached
yeah.
to somebody
So
else.
that was smart. That was
Yeah,
smart. If you had changed the other option would be to have made her an upgrade or an attachment card that then physically does it like attach, and that would have been a disaster. Like you would have had so many
yeah,
interactions and stuff. Like doing it this way
yes, yeah.
makes it much
That's the
easier.
part that I wanted to avoid. Is not like I don't want somebody thinking that they can. Oh, what's the name of that protection event where you scrap an upgrade and you get to
Yeah,
draw a bunch of cards?
yeah, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yumi can't be thrown in the trash. That's the thing I wanted to avoid.
You can't throw a cute kitty in the trash, people. You need
Exactly.
to know that. Well, you've I don't know if you directly inspired them, but another creator created an alligator Loki, um,
Oh, neat.
which their ability is that they attach to the villain. It was Ripper, yeah. Alligator Loki. The hero identity attaches to the villain and then does stuff while they're because he bites onto them So it's I would love to see a game where it's Alligator Loki and Yumi like together just going sick. That would be awesome. Okay, ready for another noob question? Another I know nothing about League of Legends. So I'm willing to bet, like a lot of people, my introduction to League is via, well, a lot of people my age at the very least. The introduction to League is via the animated show that has Jinx in it,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
Arcane. Yep.
Arcane, right? Arcane, right? Which was awesome. I loved it. So,
Oh
are
yeah.
you? Are
Such a
you?
good show.
I don't seem to see a Jinx hero set. Is that possibly on its way?
So I very purposefully was like I said when I first made my initial League of Legends content, there wasn't a whole lot of it, but my creations seemed to spark a general interest in League of Legends stuff, and there were a few folks that started making some League of Legends content very shortly afterward. And the roster of characters is pretty huge. I think we're upwards of 150 characters, give or take. Um, but yeah, because of that, I wanted to avoid recreating content that other people were already making. Um,
Gotcha.
and so I can't remember who it is exactly, but I know somebody out there made a Jinx hero set. And so,
All right.
much as I might have liked to take a crack at that, I figured, well, there's a whole roster of other characters to approach. I may as well tackle somebody else first.
Gotcha. And the other thing that you had to sort of implement as a mechanic is in the game you can't just spam your abilities over and over and over again, right? They have to cool down before you can then use them again, right? It's pretty standard game
Ah,
stuff.
yeah.
I'm coming from
I
a
see where
place of World.
this.
I've never played the game, but I've played World of Warcraft. I played World of Warcraft for a decade. So I understand the
Yep.
concept of cooldowns. So you had to put that into the game as well, which is really cool. How did you come up with the idea for that?
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to have a sort of through line for all of my characters to kind of represent the League of Legends roster on the whole. Um, like all of the different waves that FFG have given us for the official Marvel Champions content, each of the waves comes with their own sort of flavor to it.
Hmm.
Um, like the Guardians have their sort of risk versus reward play style. The Avengers all have their kind of like team up cooperation type stuff that they're doing. You get into the X-Men and they're just doing what the Avengers did, but absolutely cracked out of their minds instead. It's insane. Uh, but yeah, so I wanted there to be a sort of flavor to what the League of Legends characters brought to the table, and yeah, that just kind of came naturally in the form of the cooldown mechanic, and I felt that it slotted pretty nicely with all of the characters.
Yeah.
Since yeah, like you're saying, all of the abilities in the game they all have cooldowns, and some of them are faster than others, and I thought that it was a neat way to introduce um, kind of a delay between activations of cards on more than just a once per turn or once per round basis. Um, and I think that it worked out pretty well. And
Yeah.
I have not created him yet, but there is a champion that I have been rattling around in my brain for a while
Awesome.
that will probably come to fruition at some point.
Yes.
And his name is Zillion, and Zillion's whole
Zillion.
shtick is that he is an ancient elderly time wizard. Uh,
Love it.
and his whole thing is like speeding up and slowing down time, and so I figured there would be some cooldown counter interplay on his part where he helps get cooldown counters off of other people's cards much more quickly, and so they can activate their abilities over and over and over again.
Brilliant. So
Yeah.
that answers my next question. Is there any future projects? So Zillion is there and maybe finishing off the League of Legends expansion, like expanding on it a bit.
Yeah, I think that if I were to ease myself back into custom content creation, because again, it's been a hot minute. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the timestamps on all the edits I've made to these things, and we're looking at mid 2022 was the
Right.
last time I really touched any of my stuff. So it's been a while. It's been a
Yeah.
while, but yeah, I think if I were to ease back into it, I'd probably start with Zillion because, like I said, hero sets are just so much easier to make than scenario packs.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, from there, my hope would be to finish off um, the expansion box that I had in the works. I've also got we haven't really talked too much about this yet, but there's kind of this undercurrent of reskins in the custom content community.
Uh huh.
Um, and like the biggest one obviously is the DC reskins. All the folks that want to play with DC content, they've got reskins of just about every official Marvel Champions card, but instead of Marvel characters, it's DC characters, and they've reskinned a lot of the Marvel specific traits to be DC flavored instead.
Yeah.
And that was an ongoing project of mine, was to basically do the same thing for the League of Legends universe. So
Right.
one of the things that you should have in that tabletop mod is the supplements pack.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, that is chocked full of all of the reskins that I've made for League of Legends,
Yeah.
and it's not a fully extensive list. I kind of dropped off of that. Uh, it's definitely been quite a few expansion boxes. Again, we're talking mid 2022, the last time I really made any custom content. So, um, yeah, it's definitely been a while, and I would want to get caught up on that as well. There's
That's
definitely
awesome.
no shortage of artwork to deal with. So it's really just a matter of. I think the biggest hindrance for me in that department was finding the right analog traits. So, like in DC, like you basically have enough analogs to kind of come up with any sort of a parallel for any of the Marvel specific traits. Like Avengers isn't something that exists in DC, but Justice League does. So that
Mm.
was an easy enough analog for them to make. Whereas League of Legends, the best you can do with traits is really like the regions that the characters are from, um, and trying to kind of fit thematically. So one of the biggest stretches I had to do was the when the first X-Men set came out. I had to kind of figure out where I wanted to position that in the League of Legends universe,
Mm.
and it was kind of tough. And I
It
think
would be.
that's why I fell off of that at first, was just because I was really struggling to find the right analogs. And yeah, it just got really hard once they diversified the trait pool, and then I love them for it, but they they gave us three different X-Men traits.
Yeah.
You got X Factor, X Force, and X-Men,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna have to find three different traits for this wave of content.
And
And yeah,
were you successful? Was there a league's analog for it?
I definitely started out with the um, oh, I gotta look at my supplements now, but the first one, I think the very first one we got was X Factor.
Right.
I can't remember. I am back in front of my computer.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I think it was X-Men, or at least when I started tackling the reskinning of the
Yeah.
X-Men content. Yeah, I wound up giving it the Shurima trait, which is that kind of Egypt related zone that I was talking about.
Gotcha.
Um, and yeah, I mean, from there it just got a little harder to diversify the trait pool when I confined myself to that region. And if I had to do it again, I don't really know what I would do instead. So yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest hindrance when it comes to that particular project. It's definitely something I want to finish because there's a lot of fun new cards that I want people to be able to play with League of
Yeah.
Legends reskins. But yeah, it's really hard
It's a
without
big project.
leaving. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
it's a massive undertaking,
Yeah.
and I guess the easiest way to do it would just be to like leave the traits as is and just put the best applicable art I could on the cards, but that's not very satisfying. And we've already talked about my need for
Yeah,
consistency.
yeah.
So
No, I get you. I feel you, 100%. Some of them are obviously easier than others. I mean, you've got I've
sure.
got possession and porobot on the screen. So, ascended
Yeah,
is your psionic analog.
yeah,
I keep using the word
yeah,
analog. I
yeah.
don't know if it's the right word, but I'm going to use it anyway.
It is. Yeah,
And Golem for Android. Yeah.
yeah.
What's Piltover? What's the Piltover bit?
Piltover, I believe, is Guardians.
Guardians. Okay, cool.
Oh, no, no, no. Sorry,
Oh, it's
it's I
Avengers.
think yeah. Avengers is
Yeah,
Piltover.
it's
Zon is
Avengers.
Guardians.
Yeah, because
Yeah, because
Jocasta is
in
Avengers.
the League of Legends universe, and you actually see this in Arcane. If you've watched the show, then you've witnessed it.
Yes.
The dichotomy between the upper city and the lower city is
Yes.
very very much a parallel to what they were trying to do with the Avengers and the Guardians with the crossover. So
Right.
yeah, yeah, that one felt like an ace in the hole for sure. But
Yeah. That
then,
worked out
then
all
we
right.
started getting then we started getting into the X-Men wave, and things really broke down from there.
The bloody X Men. They ruined everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They give us so many traits. Oh, so many traits.
It's amazing. No, this is amazing work. I mean, like I said, I'm coming at it from a place of noobness. Like I don't know anything. A lot of what you talked about, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to trust that you know what you're talking about, because and you obviously do. It's amazing. It's amazing stuff. Um, and
Thank you.
just visually, it's just wow. Just the amount of work is just unbelievably cool. It's very very cool. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you're a League fan, you want to do some League stuff. I mean, stop by, grab Unicorns um, TTS mod, and just go sick. I'll have a link to it, of course. But all right, let's move away from leagues for a bit. Are there any creators or creations that inspired any of your work that you want to shout out?
So I think I already kind of mentioned Design Hacker. Like I said, I'm sure that in the custom content community, Design Hacker's name is probably the closest equivalent to a household name. Everybody is at least tangentially familiar with Design Hacker
Everybody
stuff.
knows hacks.
Yeah, I'm gonna refer to him as Hacks from here on out
Yeah,
because I think that's how everybody knows him.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, definitely, I would say Hacks was a huge contributing factor to my desire to get into it. But also like Hitch. Oh, I have mad respect for Hitch.
mm,
Uh, the sheer amount of like. I'm not going to underplay the amount of work that it's been to get Cerebro up and running and to maintain it moving forward, but uh, everything that Hitch does for the community is just, oh my gosh, it's insane.
yeah,
I respect the hell out of Hitch. And yeah, I seeing the amount of work that Hitch puts into everything from the templates for the cards to the TTS mod itself,
yeah.
it's just incredible stuff. And yeah, that drive, that work ethic, that motivation that Hitch exhibits in just about everything they do, I that was also very much a huge contributing factor for me. Um,
Awesome.
but yeah, I mean, just in general, the community at large, like seeing how much love and support there was for everything. Um, I think uh, I kind of started stepping away a little more consciously when things started getting more about like rating the quality and getting uh, like the objectives were more toward about like getting things sealed and
Yeah,
trying to get this like borderline official rating for our custom content. That's when I started to kind of drift away just a little bit because that's when it started feeling more uh like a I don't really want to say this without being a little bit derogatory, but that's when it started feeling a lot more like work than play.
right. Okay,
um
no, that's
yeah,
fair. That's a fair
so
comment.
yeah, for me it was always just trying to create something really cool and sharing it with people who were interested, and
Hmm.
um, things started feeling a little more competitive than I might have otherwise liked. And it started getting me into the mindset of like, well, maybe I need to make things more accessible, maybe I need to stop trying to be so complicated with my mechanics. And at that point it was like, okay, well, is it even really my stuff anymore if I'm just kind of tailoring it to meet the needs of the layman rather than the folks that are really going to truly appreciate the weird wacky shit that I'm doing, making cats
Wow,
attach themselves to other characters.
that isn't. That's blown my mind. Can we dive into that a little bit more? Um,
Sure.
I just recently had that experience. So I made a Mockingbird hero, and um, she there's a bit of convoluted history. So she was originally a Buffy hero, and I eventually gave up on that because all of the artwork that I used is not artwork; it's stills from the show, and that's frowned upon,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's meant to be comic
Yeah.
stuff, right? Whereas, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're making a Buffy hero, you want it to be Sarah Michelle Gellar on the card. You don't want the
Yeah.
horrible
Yeah.
artwork that's in the comic. I don't know if you read any Buffy comics, but they all suck. So, and so I so when the opportunity came to then make a Mockingbird, I was like, all right, well, I'll reskin Buff, right? Since I'm never actually going to release her. Um,
Sure.
and then Mockingbird then went through a pretty interesting, for me, sort of design process where I got a lot of interaction about her. People were quite excited. Obviously, people quite like Mockingbird as a character, which is great because she's awesome.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
so I got quite a lot of interaction in the community about it, and she changed dramatically from her initial version, the one that I originally created, it was really just a rip off of Gamora, really, to be honest. But so she changed dramatically from that to the version that she is now, and now I hate her. Like I just can't even stand
Oh,
even
yeah,
thinking about her. And
yeah,
it was quite a fascinating process. I look at it now in sort of a this is kind of a growing moment for me because I I basically took it on board all the advice that everybody gave, and all the advice was great. Like I have
yeah,
nothing but
for
mad
sure.
respect for everybody who took the time to have a look at it and give me advice. Nothing but respect. Absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant.
absolutely.
One creator, Kami, even like gave me a call. Like we had a phone conversation about it, and we sort of went through each card individually and stuff. The fact that he took the time to do that, amazing. So things like that. But I then on the flip side, I think I should have pushed back maybe a little bit on some of the suggestions as in not being part of my original vision. Like mechanical stuff should be fixed,
Yeah,
sure, but not really the vision. Because now, like I said, I just hate her and I don't want to look at her ever again. So
yeah.
is that kind of marry up with what you were saying before in terms of well maybe I should make them a little bit more sort of accessible?
Yeah, yeah, so that's exactly it. The example I'll use here is Thresh.
Cool,
When I was making Thresh, his whole shtick in the game is that he is like this ghostly spectral figure. He's the prison warden of a sort of a ghostly prison,
cool,
and he's got this sort of spectral lantern that he imprisons the souls of ne'er do wells in. Um, but the lantern can also be kind of a boon. So he'll chuck his lantern out at his teammates, and they can kind of grab it, and he'll pull them back to him. Um, and there's a bunch of fun things that he can do with his lantern. So the lantern was always a core mechanic of his kit for me.
mm,
Um, and I swear he went through, I want to say, the most revisions of any character that I've made.
wow,
Um, and it's just because he was constantly getting so many like mixed uh feedback from people. Like some people loved it, but they thought this needed to be tweaked. Other people thought like, oh well that was great, but I think this should be tweaked. Or everybody had their own ideas for how the lantern should work, and it just got changed and rechanged and changed so many times. Like um, one of the things that I try to do whenever I'm uh, to use a computer programming term is when I'm doing version control on my heroes.
love it.
You'll notice
I
in
understood that
my
reference. I'm going to throw the Captain America gif on there.
yeah, if you look at my Google Drive, I've got that linked in my had it linked in my old creator channel, but the breakdown of my characters, I've got them sorted in major and minor versions
Yes,
in
love it.
their hero pack folders,
I was so
and
excited when I saw that for the first time. I was like, "Oh my god, someone's speaking my language!" No pun intended. That's great.
yeah. So if you look at Thresh's folder, he's already up to version 3.2, which means he's gone such significant changes that I felt the need to make an entirely new major version to represent the new stage that he's in as a character.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that's so much. I think the only other character I have who has gotten even close to that is Seraphine, and yeah,
Wow.
she's at version 2.5. So yeah, Thresh has just undergone so many changes over and over again because everybody was constantly giving me mixed feedback, and it got to a point eventually where I was just like, I don't even know what to do with this character anymore. Like it's similar enough to my original vision that I still feel like it's my own, but it has changed so much over the years that I don't know. It's hard not to feel a little detached,
Right.
like when you take too much community feedback and critiques and you modify a hero too much, it feels like it's not yours anymore. It feels like it just belongs to the community at large. Like you didn't
That's it. That's it exactly.
have as yeah.
Yeah, and
And I think that's
it's such a fine line, isn't it? I mean, it's
sure.
I mean because I mean the feedback all comes from a positive place. Well, most of it. So it's I mean, which is why I respect. I have nothing but respect for the people that take the time to do it. I mean, people like Nashman and Bubblegum and like people like who take the time to actually give you proper feedback and stuff. I love them to death. So that's great. But when does the line get crossed from okay, well, I'm just going to like clean up their mechanics and make them, I mean, at least playable, right? Which is great.
Yeah, yeah.
To, well, this is not really what I wanted at all, and now this is nothing resembling even slightly what I originally wanted. Where does
Yep,
that line
yeah, for
come?
sure.
It's so hard.
Yeah, that was why when this is a lesser known fact, but Cerebro has support for custom content baked into it.
Really?
It's a different it's a different querying format, but there's a small handful of custom hero sets that I have loaded into Cerebro as well,
No
that can
way.
be queried almost the same way basically, and all of the slash commands that are baked into Cerebro have an option for origin, which is either official, unofficial, or both.
Wow.
Um,
That's awesome. I didn't, there you go. I've learned something.
Yeah, and yeah, at the time, basically what I was doing is I was basically telling people, look, I will add your content to Cerebro's database, and people can query for it. But the caveat is you have to let me proofread um,
That's fair.
basically all the cards in your set. So like, I don't want to load junk data into my database if you're just going to change things, or like if there are a shit ton of typos and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the only feedback I was giving people was like grammar issues, typos,
Mm,
like literal like syntax. So just like if we already have a precedent from FFG, make it as in line with FFG's representation of the thing that you're doing as possible.
that's fair.
Um, and yeah, like it's so stupid, and I oh my god, I cannot stand that they've done this, but FFG historically, whenever you have an upgrade uh, attached to something,
Yeah.
it's not the attached character. It's always attached character.
Yes.
So exhaust attached character or deal damage to attached character. And I fucking hate it. It's so dumb. And I wish they would not have done that. But because of that, that's the precedent that they've set,
Yeah.
right?
No, I'm with you.
That's what we're working with. And so yeah, if we're trying to make things as in line with what FFG has done, yeah, that means every single time somebody has come to me with a grammatically correct exhaust the attached character, I have to be like, look, I'm really sorry about this, but I need you to make your card sound stupider for me.
Oh, but dude, we are now eternal friends. Like I come from a writing background, and so the
Yeah.
grammar in Marvel Champions makes me want to pull my hair out sometimes. Like
Oh yeah.
it's just offensively bad, and I get why they did certain things, but some of it is just mistakes that they obviously made in the beginning, and now they're stuck with it. Like there's nothing they can't do anything about it now because it would just change the whole game and stuff. And so it's just
Yeah, exactly.
oh my god, sometimes it just drives me mad. And you're right, the upgrade one
I
is
am I am right there with you. But yeah, so that was something that I was doing for a long while where I did not care what the cards did.
yeah,
Like functionally
yeah,
speaking, mechanically speaking, like you do you. I don't want to change your vision
yeah,
or your card's functionality at all.
brilliant.
All I want to do is make sure that they're like all the words are spelled correctly, that you don't have weird floating spaces between things, that like the text that's supposed to be italicized is italicized the right way, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. That was the
Or
only
not
feedback I was giving.
italicized. I mean, your proper nouns
Yes,
aren't
yeah.
meant to have capital letters. Don't do that. That's horrible.
Yep.
FFG doesn't like it. God damn it, FFG! What are you doing? Nouns. Anyway, it's the worst. I just don't... if there's a keyword
I'm
in
so
the
happy.
text, it should have a capital letter. God damn it! Why does it not have a capital? Oh my god! Anyway, let's move on.
I'm with you there.
I'm with you. Yeah, I totally agree. And that's the thing. So you don't want to change their vision. You don't want to change if the card's OP, if the card's broken. That's fine. You don't care as long as it just looks good. So yeah, that's
Yeah, and that was my shtick, because I mean, it just came from a place of feeling that exactly the phenomenon that you're describing is just I don't want to feel like I'm losing control of the thing that I'm creating. I want earnest feedback, and I want people to say this doesn't feel totally smooth, like something about this could be tightened up quite a bit. And then I kind of want them to just leave the ball in my court when it comes to how exactly do I change that? What about it needs to change? Because then it's still ultimately my decision. It's my ideas, it's my content,
Yeah.
it's my creation, my baby that I'm fostering.
Yeah. I
But like
want to throw a positive story a part of that out there just to make sure, just sort of balance the negativity. But it's just one of my characters, Mary Marvel, Kami again. Just shout out to Kami again. I love him so much. He's he basically helped me redesign her in a way that was true to the vision and just made her monumentally better. Like, it was just amazing transformation, and she's now one of my favorite creations that I've ever made. So without his contribution, she wouldn't be where she is, and I think that answers my own question: is where is the line? Right?
Yeah.
It was advice based on what my vision originally was that makes her better, not advice based on, well, it just doesn't, it just kind of sucks and we should really do it this way. And it's like, it was,
Sure. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, that was awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Man, we've gone to so many like deep places. I love it. It's great. Have you made any customs for any, like, you see your board game room is like huge. Have you made any customs for any other games?
Um, I have not officially to any sort of finalized extent, but another huge game that I'm a really really big fan of is Spirit Island.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, and there's a pretty significant
Yeah,
custom content community for that game
it's
as
pretty
well.
big. Yeah.
I mean, it's got a lot of the same components that Marvel Champions does when it comes to modularity. So people want to make their own custom spirits, they want to make their own custom adversaries, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have not even remotely dived into that community nearly as much as I have the Marvel Champions community. But yeah, I dabbled a little bit with what it might be like to make my own spirit, and oh man, that's you once you get into Spirit Island, that's when you really start having to think about the balance.
Yeah.
Like it is a lot of math and thinking, and you're kind of playing 3D chess with yourself, and I think that's kind of where I didn't really stick to that one quite as hard, because yeah, it's so easy to make a hero that, or a spirit, that's either underpowered or overpowered, and
Mm,
finding that right balance in the middle is so tough.
yeah.
Um,
That's a cool game.
yeah.
It's a cool game though. If you can.
Oh yeah, God, I love that game.
That's
It's
good.
so good.
Cool. All right. Well, I mean, we covered like a heap of stuff, but is there anything that I didn't bring up that we didn't talk about that you did want to mention?
Um, Not particularly. No, I think. Yeah, I think that we covered bases I wasn't even expecting to cover. So, well, ultimately, yeah, it was really great to talk to you. This is super cool. I'm happy to be a part of this, and yeah, thanks for giving me the shout out. And I just want to remind everyone that I am but a mere mortal.
Don't listen to him. It's not true. You are the unicorn. It's yeah. Well. Thank you very much for being part of it. I thought you were going to be cool, and you have been just amazingly cool to talk to. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
thank
it,
you.
and it's just what. And I know it sounded like a fluffy intro at the start, but I meant everything that I said. It's you. Your contribution is it's amazing, just absolutely amazing. So not just like your content. So I mean, if you're a League fan, then obviously they're going to be in heaven, like going through your stuff. But yeah, I mean, the Cerebro and all that you've done for the community is just like the scans and all that sort of stuff. It's just we wouldn't be here today in the way that we are without you. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me and for being so awesome. I really appreciate you.
Well, it really is my pleasure. It's been great chatting with you. I
And
appreciate
apologies for the internet dropouts. There was another one, folks. I'll
it.
edit it out. So you won't know, but oh my god, yeah, unbelievable. But so yeah, awesome talking to you. Thank you very much. If you're watching this on YouTube, and obviously you are, because it's not being streamed. I don't know why I keep saying that. That's like the fourth time I've done that. I've done like 20 of these. It's ridiculous. Please like and subscribe. And leave a comment. Just say hello to Unicorn and just tell them how awesome they are, because they are. But yeah, just like, subscribe, leave a comment. Just let me know how we're going with these spotlights. What was your favorite bit about the spotlights? Was there something about League that we didn't cover? Because I know we've probably, knowing the League audience, we've probably offended somebody with something that we've said. It's they can't help themselves.
Merely mentioning Timo's name almost certainly gave somebody PTSD.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay, right, there you go. See, Timo was on the screen for quite a significant amount of time, so I apologise for anybody triggered by Timo being on the screen so long. I did have Thresh on the screen for a while, and I know that Bubblegum's son is a big fan of Victor. There you go. There's a bit of community lore that I personally know about because they've mentioned it.
Yeah, I've got both Jace and Victor as characters, so there's a little bit of arcane crossover there, and it's actually a fun little tidbit as we're closing out here.
Yeah.
Captain Scorp
awesome.
made an Elsa Bloodstone here. Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Captain Scorp's great. Elsa Bloodstone is my favorite Marvel character, and
she's awesome.
And Scorp made Scorp made a bespoke Elsa Bloodstone hero set just for me as a show of appreciation for everything that I did with Cerebro.
That's right.
And
I remember that now.
And
deep lore.
Yeah, my trade or my repayment as I felt compelled to make something for Scorp, and Scorp is at least I think a decent enough fan of League of Legends, if not at least tangentially aware of it. A Jace fan, and so Jace was actually my rebuttal to Scorp making Elsa for me, as I made Jace for him. So
yeah, you got to help me out here. So you mentioned when I mentioned Victor, and you said, "Hey, and I've also got Jace." Is that relevant in some way? Are they the same person or something?
Victor and Jace were both in Arcane.
Oh, okay, cool. Right, okay. All right. I've only watched it the once. I don't even memorize it. Okay, all right, sweet, that's cool. I was like, what have I touched on here? We're gonna have to spend. It's gonna be another hour of League stuff. It's just getting out of control. I'm not gonna play the game, folks. I'm sorry if that triggers anybody. I'm not gonna start playing the game. I have no idea. I suck at these games. I can't play them. I'm not playing them. Anyway, there you go. Boom. An extra tidbit for you. Elsa Bloodstone is awesome. You've been great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We're going to finish it up here. Thank you, everybody else who's watching this on YouTube. And look forward to some more creator spotlights. I love doing them. So there's going to be more coming out as we go. So thank you very much. Take care. And as always, don't forget to tell the people that you love them as often as you can. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.